You are sitting in the salon chair with a photo on your phone, soft, beachy waves, the kind that look effortless and alive. The rods come out, the blow dryer clicks off, and what looks back at you in the mirror is tight, frizzy, almost helmet-like, a texture you did not ask for and do not recognize. You paid for fresh. You left feeling 10 years heavier. Here's the truth nobody tells you. The word perm scares women over 50 and 60 because we picture our mother's tight curls, not because texture itself is the enemy. Stay with me, because number 3 on this list is the one most stylists never mention unless you ask for it by name. Welcome back, beautiful. I am so glad you are here. If this is your first time, you landed in exactly the right place, because we talk about style that works for real women, real mornings, and real mirrors, not some fantasy version of beauty. And I need you to hear this before we go any further. Your hair is not the problem. Your age is not the problem. The wrong texture formula is the problem. So let's fix that, starting with the safest one on this list. The first one on our list is what I call the loose root point wave. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. That sounds like barely a change at all. But stay with me, because the smallest shift in where the curl starts can completely change how alive your hair feels. The wrong version is a full head tight perm, curling from the root all the way to the tip. No variation, no breathing room. It reads stiff before you even leave the chair. The right version starts the wave mid-shaft. The root stays relaxed. The ends move softly, like they have somewhere to go. Here is the part that matters. The problem was never curl. It was where the curl started. When the root stays loose, the eye travels down your hair in soft S-curves instead of stopping at rigid little coils sitting right against your scalp. That softness near the face keeps the whole look fresh instead of frozen. So the next time you sit in that chair, say this exact sentence. Ask for a root point wave with rods starting at mid-shaft, not at the scalp. That one sentence protects you from the tight, dated result you are afraid of. Now, this next one is where women get nervous, and honestly, I understand why. This next texture is the Soft Digital Volume Perm, and before you say that sounds too trendy or too high maintenance, let me explain what it actually is. The wrong version is uniform, tight curls packed in at the crown, heavy and stiff, the kind that make your whole head feel like it is wearing armor. The right version uses larger digital rods, and it only lifts the root. The bend through the rest of the hair stays loose and open. Here is the twist. This sounds like more work, but it is actually less styling every single morning because the lift is already built in. You are not fighting flat hair with a round brush at 6 in the morning anymore. The volume does that work while you sleep. And visually, here is what happens. Lift at the crown pulls the eye upward and inward, toward your cheekbones and your eyes, instead of letting the whole silhouette sag downward by noon. That upward pull is what makes a look feel alive instead of tired. So ask your stylist specifically for digital perm rods, not traditional cold wave rods, and keep them concentrated at the crown, not all over the head. That distinction changes everything. Now, the next one is the most overlooked texture on this entire list, and most women have never even heard its name. This one is the texturizing body wave, and it is hiding in plain sight. The wrong version is the old school body wave, the one that puffs out at the ends, bulky and shapeless, almost triangle-shaped by the time it dries. That shape is not doing you any favors. It widens everything at exactly the point where you want the eye to keep moving. The right version combines that same body wave with point cut layers, so the ends taper instead of flare. Here is the part most stylists never mention unless you ask for it directly. Point cutting removes the bulk right at the tips, and that small detail is the difference between hair that looks intentional and hair that looks accidental. Visually, tapered ends create a vertical line pulling downward, and that vertical line is what avoids the wide, horizontal shape that can quietly age a silhouette. It is not about less volume. It is about where that volume ends. So when you go in, do not just say body wave. Bring a photo and say the full phrase, body wave with point cut layers. That one addition is the detail that separates polished from dated. And honestly, this next one sounds bold, but I need you to stay with me here. Before we get to that one, tell me something in the comments. Which of these have you actually tried? And which one scared you off before today? I read every single comment, and I love knowing what you are working with. Now back to the list, because this is where it gets really good. The fourth texture is the loose spiral with a diffused finish, and I know the word spiral makes some of you picture Shirley Temple curls bouncing off your scalp. That is not what we are talking about. The wrong version is a tight spiral, uniform in size from root to end, set hard with a flat iron, almost costume-like once it settles. The right version uses mixed spiral sizes and a diffuser instead of direct heat, so the curl pattern loosens naturally by midday. Here is the twist that matters. This one looks risky in the photo taken right out of the chair, but it may actually be the safest choice on this entire list once it settles into your real, everyday texture. Varied curl sizes catch the light unevenly, which draws the eye across your face instead of landing on one flat, uniform mass. That movement is what reads as soft and current instead of stiff and set. So here is what to ask for. Request mixed-size spiral rods, and specifically ask for a diffused finish, not a flat iron set curl. That combination is the sweet spot between texture and ease. Now, the last one is simple, but please do not underestimate it, because this is the mistake that happens before you even leave the salon. The final texture on this list is a soft, piecey texture perm applied only to your face framing pieces, not your whole head. And I know some of you are thinking, that sounds too trendy, or that is not for my face. Before you skip this one, listen closely. The wrong version is a whole head perm applied uniformly, completely ignoring the pieces that actually frame your features. Most women only ask for all-over texture and never think to ask for anything different near the face. That is the mistake. The right version applies a light texture perm only to the pieces closest to your eyes and cheekbones, softening the frame around the parts of your face people actually look at first. Here is why this one is personal. Soft pieces fall inward toward your face, instead of sitting in a harsh straight line beside it. That inward movement draws the eye directly toward your eyes and your cheekbones, away from any sharp edge that can feel hard or unfinished. It is a small, targeted change, but it is often the one detail that makes an entire haircut feel finished instead of flat. So the next time you are in that chair, ask specifically for face framing perm rods, separate from the rest of your head. Say it exactly like that. That request alone can change how the whole cut reads. So here is the one thing all 5 of these have in common, and I want you to really hear this part. It was never about whether or not to get texture. It was about where the curl starts and how loose it stays once it settles. Tight against the root reads heavy. Loose and moving reads alive. That is the whole secret, and you can say it to any stylist in one sentence. Loose over tight, movement over uniform. Say that, and you protect yourself from the tired, stiff, dated result you walked in fearing. I hope this gives you something real to take with you the next time you sit down in that chair with a photo on your phone. You deserve to leave feeling exactly like the picture you brought in, not further from it. If this helped you feel a little more confident about your next appointment, give this video a like. It genuinely helps this reach more women who need to hear it. Subscribe if you want more honest, affordable style advice made for real mornings and real mirrors, not some unattainable version of beauty. Tell me in the comments which of these 5 you are leaning toward trying first, and if there is a topic you want covered next, I am listening. We are here every single week with tips made specifically for women over 50 and 60 who still want to feel fresh, polished, and completely like themselves. Stay stylish, stay confident. Your best years are not behind you. They are happening right now, one good haircut at a time.